How to build a strong personal brand in 2020. This is not going to be the typical advice you get on personal branding. I'm going to give you 7 tips that are going to help you build a strong personal brand both online and offline, because remember, your personal brand is your reputation and your body of work. And to pretend that personal branding doesn't exist or that it's gross is to pretend that Google and social media don't exist. Let's get into the video. Hey everybody, this is Roberto helping you create something awesome today. Welcome back to the channel. So for the new people here, first of all, welcome. My name is Roberto. I'm a creative entrepreneur, I'm a public speaker, and I really help people build their brands and businesses online. That's what I really love to do and I'm passionate about. So if you're into that kind of thing, make sure you like the video and subscribe with notifications to get more. Let's talk about building your personal brand. The first tip that I want to give you is to really think about what it is you want to be known for. What do you want your reputation to be? What is something that would allow you to stand out? What is it about your story that is unique and compelling and powerful? This is something that I think a lot more people should be focused on. There's a lot that goes into the idea of niching down. But when we talk about niching down, we're really just talking about creating a focus and a way to be more authoritative. And it is something that I think is valuable. But I want to reframe that for you. I want you to really think about what it is you want to be known for. And I want you to think about how relevant that is to a particular type of individual, somebody that you want to build a relationship with. Let's face it, when we hear things like personal branding, we hear curate yourself, productize yourself, and there are a lot of people that find that repelling or gross. And I understand where they're coming from. But we are a curated version of ourselves in most of our human interactions, and that's not the same thing as being inauthentic. The same people who are judging personal branding in that way are the same people that probably would, not give you the job opportunity that you apply for if you didn't curate yourself to understanding their brand, their business, their whims, and their taste, and you decide to go 100%. All right. So again, I'm not telling people to be inauthentic in how they present themselves. I'm telling you that context matters and that in reality, you are thoughtful, at least if you want to be successful in how you communicate and how you present yourself and what you want to be known for when you're trying to attract certain people or opportunities for you. So what you put out there does result in what you get back. My second tip when it comes to personal branding and building a strong personal brand is to really think about the quality of your work and what it says about you. Your reputation is based in your relationships, but a lot of times your relationships and how people feel and speak about you has to do with whether or not you were able to deliver for them, and also what their experience of your work has been over a period of time. And so you really do need to think about the quality of your work and what you're putting out there and what the experiences people have had when they've interacted and engaged with you and with your ability to deliver for them. Are you creating value for them? Are you creating unique value? Is the experience of working with you or buying your product or service a superior experience? Really think about that and how you are going to make that work. I'll give you a primary example. One of the things that I do with these YouTube videos is it takes about a couple of hours for them to catch up, but I provide closed captions on these videos because that's going to be a better experience for the viewer. I make sure that I've invested a lot of money into the audio quality and the audio experience and into the sound design of these videos because it's going to make them easier to watch and it's going to make it more likely that people say good things about the quality of my videos and that they share them with other people who they think would also enjoy them. So when I think about the body of work that somebody has, I think about how that quality speaks to their work ethic, their values, their commitment to their craft. And I think that if you want to build a strong personal brand, both online and offline, pay very close attention to the quality of your work and the standards that you hold. Tip number 3 for building a strong personal brand is to be accessible and discoverable. Remember what I said, to ignore personal branding or to deride personal branding is to act as if search engines and social media do not exist. They are an access point and a discovery point for people who don't have context on you yet. So this is a matter of reputation management. Reputations take a lifetime to build and a moment to destroy, okay? Always remember that. So when we want to be accessible and discoverable, we really need to think about what happens when people do a Google search on us, what happens when people look us up in social media. And to that end, you also need to think about how accessible you are in terms of the ability to reach out to you, to communicate with you. How many hoops do people have to jump through in order to reach you? Because that's going to be part of the experience that they have and the way that they think and feel about you and the way that they communicate that to other people. So that's going to impact reputation. The other thing is, again, that discoverability factor, being able to dictate your own narrative, to be able to speak to your reputation, and in many cases, to be able to defend your reputation when necessary. The reality is that you live in the world that you live in right now. I'm not going to say much more about it than that. And so I really think that understanding the value of reputation management and the role that social media and search engines play in that and how to best leverage that is something that is going to be a bigger conversation over the next few years than it is right now, but it already should be a very important conversation and you should be taking it seriously. Tip number 4 on personal branding. Speaking of social media and these platforms, a lot of people tell me, Roberto, I don't have time to be in every social media platform. I totally understand that, especially when you're just getting started. And while this advice is a little controversial, I tell people to really focus on 2 to 3 platforms. 2 to 3 already sounds like a lot, Roberto. Why wouldn't you just focus on one? What you focus on is what you grow. You say that all the time. The reason that I think you should focus on 2 to 3 is because I think that you should think about one platform that allows you to be a content platform and to put that first. Whether you're doing a podcast, a YouTube channel, you're doing a blog, I want you to think about that as your core central content. And I need to think about what platform that should go on, what platform is best suited to that medium and also to that audience and plays to your strengths. So that's your primary platform, okay? But your 2 secondary platforms should theoretically be a platform that you can take micro content to help promote and supplement that, to introduce people into your larger form content. So you should have basically a macro platform and a micro platform, but then you should have a communication and networking platform that allows you to focus on relationship building and also could be distribution for this content. So you see that the 3 of those things are going to be working together. We have macro, which is the big platform. We have micro, which is the smaller platform. And then we have a distribution outlet. A real example of this would be YouTube, Instagram, and then Twitter. Or it could be YouTube, LinkedIn, and then Twitter, or it could be YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Instagram is a very powerful communications platform for cultivating an audience, but LinkedIn is a powerful platform for building a professional network. So you have to really decide what your personal brand falls under and which platforms are appropriate for your goals, but also play to your strengths and give you this balance. And just remember that some platforms you're going to be putting content on once a week, others you're going to be putting on several times a week, and then others might be multiple times a day. Twitter would be a multiple times a day platform. Instagram would probably be multiple times a week. YouTube could be multiple times a week or even multiple times a month. It does not need to be daily. So saying that you don't have the time, I understand. I challenge you to audit that and really think about where you can effectively use that time and what platforms make sense. If you're actually trying to choose the best social media platform for your brand and business, I actually have a dedicated video on that topic. I also have another video you should watch if you want to dominate social media in 2020. So make sure you're watching those videos. And again, subscribe and hit notifications if you're enjoying the content so far. Tip number 5 for building a strong personal brand is consistency. One of the most valuable characteristics of a person is consistency, them being reliable. And consistency isn't just about, consistently posting content or doing anything like that. Again, this happens online and offline as well. Being consistent in your messaging, being consistent in your character, being consistent in the way that you present, being consistent in your values. These are things that are important and that people use to kind of evaluate you or judge you. And, I think it's perfectly reasonable to want to see if someone has a consistent standard that they hold themselves to in the way that they deliver, especially if you're going to have a working relationship with them. Now, from a visual branding and aesthetic standpoint, I'm a big fan of consistency when it comes to aesthetics. Because of my background in photography and graphic design, I really focus on this a lot. There's a lot of psychological principles that go into that, but the reality is that we like things that are familiar and we like things that feel congruent. So if you can aesthetically make sure that you're consistent across your social media platforms, your headshots and things like that, it goes a long way toward people feeling like you're reliable and that you pay attention to details. And those are valuable qualities in someone that we want to build any type of relationship with. The framework that I think of for consistency is be consistent in your purpose, be consistent in your presentation, and be consistent in your priorities. If you can remember that, then I think you'll do well. Personal branding tip number 6 is that your vibe attracts your tribe. I believe in the law of attraction, and I believe that you attract people to you with the content that you put out. I believe that you attract people to you with the body of work that you build and the experiences that you create for people. And so, while a lot of people are skeptical about this, I really do believe that this is the case. And I think that even in my own experiences with building this channel, that I've attracted like-minded people to me with the topics and subject matter that I cover, my delivery style and presentation, and also the standards that I hold myself to really kind of reflect the way that people communicate with me in the comment section. People in this community that we've built tend to be respectful. They tend to be older people. They tend to have some sense of maturity, but they also aren't sticks in the mud. They actually know how to have fun and they like to be authentic. And I'm my authentic, goofy self. I'm not afraid to, I don't sit here and I don't try to act professional. I just am professional in terms of the standards that I hold. But the reality is I am a Star Wars nerd. I'm not gonna hide that from you guys. I do prefer to wear athletic gear and things like that. I mean, and in my own videos, I wear my own merchandise and I don't mind doing those things compared to trying to impress people with a suit and tie, because that's not really authentic to me. I've never been comfortable in a suit and tie, and it's important to be comfortable on camera in order to deliver effectively and authentically for you guys. And my channel has grown in proportion to my own confidence in myself. So I do believe that your vibe does attract your tribe, your community, your relationships. And I also think that in any business that you're building, beyond your personal brand, in your business, you should be trying to cultivate and attract people that hold your same standards and your same values. And that should be the people that you want to network with and build relationship with. So that's just kind of like my advice when it comes to that. And then finally, tip number 7, when it comes to building a strong personal brand, is that everything we do is going to add up to the reputation that we have. And so you should act in a thoughtful manner in everything that you do, everything that you put out, everything that you communicate. It represents you. And while this may not be like the sum total of the experiences that you've created and everything that you've done, for some people, it will be the first and only experience they have of you, one way or another. So you really need to think about that and make that count. And so whether that is the experience you have with someone at a networking event, the experience they have with you in a business transaction, the experience that they have when they're watching or listening to or consuming your content, you really need to remember that that might be the first and only impression you get to make with somebody. And so you should make it count and you should be thoughtful. Not everyone's gonna be in on the joke. So when people say things like, well, make content for your audience, I think that you should make content for your intended audience, not just the people that you've already won over, but the people that you're hoping to reach. And if you can, avoid alienating them. I'm not telling you to pander. I'm not telling you to be inauthentic. I'm telling you that if you want to build relationships, you need to be willing to meet people halfway, because that's what relationships are. And so there you go. Those are my 7 tips when it comes to building a strong personal brand. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. In fact, if you want, I do have a free ebook that you can get on personal branding that gets into a little bit more detail on this kind of thing. I also will be sending you out some more emails that can help you if you're trying to cultivate your personal brand. And so yeah, if you want to sign up for the newsletter, there's a link in the description for you. I also have a lot of advice here for businesses and entrepreneurs or anybody who's also trying to build their brand in social media. So if you're into that kind of content, you can check out the other videos that are in the description and in the playlist that I'm gonna link up here specifically. And I really just hope that you guys got value out of today's video. Question of the day. What are you doing to build your reputation? What are you doing to build a strong personal brand? And also, what are your other questions about personal branding and social media? Let me know in the comment section. Like this video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Check out the other awesome content here on the channel. As always, you guys, thanks so very much for watching. And don't forget, go out there and create something awesome today. Take care.